How different is this for you? Vic talked about it a little bit just a few minutes ago, that you finally have a home and you played more football last year than you've played in your whole life. Just to have a job, as long as you play like that, you'll have a job around here. How different is that heading into the season for you?
It is a little different. He came up to me, I think it was about the time we got back, or it was actually when he called me during the off season. He kind of asked, how does it feel to be, a little comfortable having a position here? And, I told him my mentality is not going to change. I'm going to fight the same way I did every single year. That as soon as you feel like you get complacent, sometimes is when, things can turn for the worse. Or, and I've battled through hell and back, and so I'm just going to keep my mentality the same way. But it feels good. So as long as as long as they know that I can play football, I'm going to give them everything I can, and I'll play as long as I can. And I'm just happy to be here.
Next up, Colin.
Hey, Mike. Early impressions of how you're meshing with Jurrell Casey and just kind of what he's like as a player up there.
Jurrell's a great guy. He brings a lot of intensity, and a lot of experience. And I think those are like the biggest things. His experience and his knowledge of the game, everything like that. It's helped us, tremendously inside. To lose somebody like Wolf, but to gain somebody like him is just something that's, tremendous. And, the gelling wise, when we're out there playing, I think it's been going really well. And it can only get better from now on. And, now we got the pads on, we can really bang, really feel each other out, how we play, how certain things can play off of each other, things like that. But it's been going really well, and I only expect it to get better.
Next up, Nick Kosmatter.
Yeah, just wondering what it was like to see Bradley Chubb back out there. When you guys got back to practicing, and just how he looks. Obviously coming off of that ACL injury.
Oh yeah, the first day I told him when we walked out there for the first team period. I told him I said it's been a long time. I only played one game with him last year, and that was Oakland Monday night. And then unfortunately, his season ended before I got put back into that lineup. But I told him I'm excited to be out there with him. He looks great. It doesn't look like he's favoring anything. It just looks like he's ready to roll. I know he's been here grinding all year, and it's an exciting year.
Next up, Andrew Mason, go ahead.
Mike, you've got a fairly unique perspective on Vic Fangio, having played with him earlier in your career. So how is Vic different now than he was as a coordinator when you played for him? And also, what do you see different in Vic from last year to this year as he runs the team?
The biggest thing for me, seeing him just as a defense coordinator in San Fran to the head coach here, and I was with him in Chicago for a little bit. Obviously you got to talk more. So Vic's, he was never used to be, a man of many words besides his meetings. He'd teach what he needed to be taught. And, other than that, it wasn't much. But, he's talking a lot more. He runs every single meeting. He's got to talk to everybody. So it's been awesome. But to see the growth that he has from like last year to this year even, it's, you just gain more leadership, and it's kind of hard to say because you're a head coach. And I can't speak for a head coach. I've never been a head coach or anything like that. But, in my eyes, I see him. He's going to, he's going to take responsibility for a lot, and he's going to lead us a lot. And it's just, it's just something that's, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. But, I see a lot of growth, through the whole coaching staff, throughout the whole team as well. So certain adjustments are made. And he looks good as a head coach too. He said he talked about losing some weight this offseason. He looks good. So.
Next up, Jeff Legwell, go ahead.
Yeah, Mike, we haven't had a chance to speak to many of the linemen on either side of the ball, but have you tried a face shield yet, and would you wear one in a game, do you think?
I have not. I don't plan on it personally. And I haven't talked to anybody who has actually. For me, it's, I used to wear a visor in college. And up in Wyoming, it was elevation was 7220. So I wore it there, but, I went to San Francisco to start my career in the NFL and had the visor there too. But when I got here last year, I didn't bother to put it on. Not for one specific reason or anything, but, I think it honestly helped my breathing ability without that face shield, just the visor too. So, I don't know. I know the full face shield has, it has the holes in it and everything. And, to me, I don't plan on wearing it. like the way I can breathe. I don't know if it's going to make a big difference or not. It may not. But personally, I won't be wearing it.
Next up, Mike Kliss, go ahead.
Yeah, Mike, a little bit along those same lines. The guys who opted out this year from playing, more than half were the interior defensive line, offensive line. Did you think about whether or not to opt out? What's your feeling on, the safety and the risk of the COVID?
With Denver, from what I've seen with Denver, the first week that we got here, they were doing everything they can with protocols and beyond. So for me, it never really crossed my mind too much. Without even having an off season, I just miss football that much. So for me, it's, I want to get out and I want to play. So it never really crossed my mind too much. I do have, a wife and kids at home, so it does worry me a little with them. But I don't know, my wife at home with the kids is taking every precaution she can. So we're just doing everything that we can together, and that's all we can do. We control what we control. If something happens, you got to fight and roll with punches. But it's nothing that really crossed my mind too much about opting out. I just, if I got an opportunity to play football, I'm going to play football.
Next one, Troy Wright.
Mike, you were one of the few guys who's a Colorado prep guy who ends up in the NFL. These kids not having their fall season, maybe having it in the spring, kind of what message would you have to high schoolers, and kind of how important was that last year for you as you were able to land a scholarship with Wyoming?
Oh yeah, it's a rough situation for them. I hope they definitely get that chance to play in the spring if they're going to do it in the fall. And it's a huge opportunity, especially for some that are maybe borderline about getting a scholarship or not. So I think they definitely should have a season. Whenever it may be, let the kids play. I know they want to. As long as they can do every protocol precaution that they can. I'm all for it, and it's something that, you kind of, sometimes for athletes, it's what they want to get to the next level. Sometimes it's rough, if they don't have the grades or whatnot. Athletes is or sports is one of the ways that pushes them to the next level of school. And, not that sports comes before school at all, because it should always be school first. But I hope they get a chance to play. With that, I wish them luck in everything. You just got to be able to, like I said, roll with the punches. They can't control exactly what's going on right now. Nobody can. But I wish, all those high school sports the best of luck in everything, and hopefully that they can get seasons going and, push their careers further.
Last two, Zach Stevens, then DMAC. Go ahead, Zach.
Hey, Mike, thanks for talking with us. What have you seen early on from the young guys, specifically Draymond and McTelvin on the defensive line?
Oh, they're two guys with definitely that have motors. It's kind of rough right now that we have two different locker rooms, so we can't necessarily, we're not next to each other all day long. But, with these guys, you see them out on the field and they're playing and they're going all out. And it's a promising year, I can tell you that for sure. They're both young, but, we've all been in that position before. We can all have experience that we can share knowledge with them, especially, from Jurrell or Shelby or myself. D-Wop, Christian, those guys, they all have different aspects of the game that you pick up from wherever you've been, however you've played. You can always pass it on to them. But, with the talent they've had, Dre showed out last year. And Sosa this year, he has all the tools that with the tools that he's bringing in and the tools that, Bill can teach them as well as the rest of the vets. He can only go up, can only get better, and that's what we hope and that's what we expect. So.
Last one, DMAC. Go ahead.
Pads today, who'd you enjoy hitting the most, and what do you think about the three guys competing at center?
Pads, first day of pads was good. I think Vic kind of said defense came out a little slower. I think, the past 2 days we were so on top of things mentally that we kind of, maybe got distracted by the physical aspect. So it was good that we got the pads on. You got to be able to focus on the physical aspect as well as the mental side of it. But, I don't know if there was one specific person that I was, happy to go against today. Just being able to put those pads on and get banging again. But with center, it's, whoever's the best man is going to get the job, and I'm going to play, my game. And, if that helps them make a decision, whichever way it may go, I'm just going to focus on my aspect of playing ball. We're on the same team, so we're trying to get each other. We're trying to make each other better. And, I see bright spots in all of them. So it'll be an interesting battle. It's just one of those training camp battles that you got to go through. I'm sure the team will make the right decision with who's going to start and everything like that. But as what I'm focused on is playing my game. And right now it's it's training camp. We're going against each other, but we're on the same team. So we're just trying to make each other better.